What is up, YouTube? It's me, John Avenger. Welcome to the month of May. I know it's May 2nd here in the Eastern Standard Time, but in other states it's probably like it's only May 1st. Today is May 2nd, but I'm doing my first DVD update for the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed. I got a bunch of stuff here that I've been buying at pawn shops and at Best Buy and so on. I got these real cheap. I'm going to show every single one of them to you, and guys can give your thoughts on these movies if you've seen them. What do you think? My thoughts are going to be on the films that I've seen already. So here we go. We'll start with this. Is a very underrated sequel. First of all, I enjoyed this sequel. It was the very first R-rated film I saw in theaters alone. I really think that this is not Arnold's worst. Some people say shit on this film because it's like Arnold was phoning it in, and he doesn't have the charm he had in the first two films. I disagree. I'd rather see this film than Sabotage that came out this year, because that's R-rated and that's lackluster and has shaky cam. This film at least didn't have shaky cam, and I think the action's awesome. I disagree. I don't think the effects are shitty. I've seen much worse. Remember, this was 2003, not 2013 or 2014. And that is Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, the widescreen 2-disc edition. Yes, I enjoyed this film. Sue my ass. It says it right here. This critic said, utterly spectacular, the best action film of the year. Well, I disagree on that. I did think it was one of the underrated action films of that year. My favorite would probably be like, I don't know, X-Men 2. That was a really solid sequel. But I don't hate this movie. I know a lot of people have problems with this film. They said it made the second film pointless. But you know what? For an action film, I had a great time in the theater. It was fun to see Arnold again. This was really his last big hit in the theaters, not counting the Expendables films. Because Last Stand was good, but it flopped. Sabotage flopped. Escape Plan flopped. And Arnold, this is the film that people know you for, and it's not going to get better than this. I mean, they would have to do a sequel to Last Stand, or Terminator 5 would have to be extremely badass to be better than this. But I will hold on to this. I will watch it with the first two films and have a ball. Arnold goodness, man. I know who knows how much longer we're going to have him as an action star. He will always be one of my favorite action stars, no matter what movie he does. And I have seen much worse than this, trust me. Count on it. I like this movie. You don't, that's fine, but to me, it's an underrated sequel. And speaking of underrated sequels, this is a horror sequel that I bought. Technically, it's like a prequel, but I consider it a sequel because it doesn't connect to the first film in any way. George Clooney and Tarantino are not in the film. They're not mentioned, so I could count it as a sequel. I really enjoy this film. I know some people probably have discarded this because it's a sequel to one of the best Robert Rodriguez films ever made, in my opinion. But I like this sequel. It's fun. It's fast-paced. There's a lot of action in the second half, and there's nothing in it that really took me out of it. Yeah, there's some flaws, but I can deal with it. And that is From Dusk Till Dawn to Texas Blood Money. Very fun sequel. Robert Patrick was perfect for this role. His southern accent was spot on. I like the action sequences with him. He's in this heist in the beginning of the film, and the vampires are a lot more frequent in this film. The problem I had with the first film is that it takes about an hour for you to see a vampire in the film. In this one, in the first 15 minutes, you see a vampire. I think the vampires look cool. They're not sparkling emo douchebags like in Twilight. It's fast paced. It's very short. It's 88 minutes long. It's shorter than the first film. Some of the visual effects, in the beginning there's some CGI, but I can take it over CGI and R.I.P.D. and Man of Steel and big budget blockbusters that are in theaters. Although this was direct to video, I really enjoyed this film. Just for Robert Patrick alone, and the action and the horror elements, are there. It doesn't shit on the first film. I think it's very solid. It says lots of action by Chicago Daily Herald. I agree with them. This has a lot of action. The last act, I was like, wow, this movie gets a 3.6 on IMDb? Fuck that. This movie is not a 3.6. You know what deserves a 3.6? A movie like Man of Steel, because it was boring and there's no action until the second half and it's still stupid. This film is R-rated and it's got some titties and also a great lead in Robert Patrick, a very underrated actor who after T2 should have gotten better roles, but I think this is one of his good ones. From Dusk Till Dawn 2, it rocks. It's an underrated sequel and I really enjoyed myself watching this. I saw it last year during Halloween, so perfect timing for this, and I got it on DVD real cheap, so good. Here's another horror film that I like. I don't like the ending per se, but I do like this film. I think it's very imaginative, and it has one of my favorite actors in a horror film. That's Tom Matthews, and that is the first Return of the Living Dead, the special edition. Yeah, this has the commentary by the director and the writer Dan O'Bannon and production designer William Stout, and has a featurette and conceptual art and TV spots in the trailer. It was good enough for me. I really enjoy this film. The effects are top notch. It's really cool. Tom Matthews is really good in the film, and the rest of the cast, Clu Gulager and James Karen and John Calfa, and there's other actors in it as well. I think it's really top notch stuff. It could beat the shit out of any zombie movie today. It's 80s goodness. I think it was in 1985. I love that year for a reason. And, the movie is a classic of the 80s. Without this, we wouldn't have gotten, like, the remake to Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead and a bunch of other zombie films. Definitely not Resident Evil either. It's a fun movie. Got it real cheap. Brand new, by the way, at a pawn shop. Was worth it. I can't wait to see this film again. I'm probably going to save it for Halloween, but it's an awesome movie. Next is not a horror film. It's a action film. This is probably one of the only action films I haven't seen yet. Hold on. Take a little drink. Got some chocolate milk. Does the body good. Oh, that's good. Anyway, this is one of Michael Bay's films. And no, it's not a Transformers film. With the new one coming out in June, I'm not really sure about it, but this I'm sure I'm going to see. It's got two awesome stars that I wish would do films like this. They need to do a third installment of this. I haven't seen the first film yet, or this one, but I know it's going to be better than Transformers 4, because it's R-rated, and you can't get better than that. And that is the 2-disc special edition of Bad Boys 2. Yeah, I've heard some good things about this film, some mixed opinions as well, because some people didn't care for it. They said the first one's better, but I'm willing to give this a chance. Pain and Gain, I'll probably watch it sometime, but it's not better than this, that's for damn sure, because it doesn't have Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. If they do a Bad Boys 3, I'm all for it. I mean, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they're not too old to play these roles. I think it's a good idea. I really want to enjoy this film. I'm going to see it sometime in May. It's over 2 hours long. It's 147 minutes. But hey, if I saw Transformers Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon, I could see this. I hope I enjoy this. It's a sequel that was made years after the first one. The first one was, I think, in like the mid-90s, and this one was in 2003. So it was a while. They waited a while. But I'm going to check this out. I hope it's badass. I hope it doesn't let me down. Next is one of my favorite horror films that I've seen in a while. This is a 90s film that's very underrated. I think Robert Englund is great in this film. It's the true sequel after Part 4. This movie is really creepy. I saw this on cable a couple years ago. It creeped me out. A lot of the elements in it are as scary as the first one, and that is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. One of the best when it comes to the Nightmare films. It definitely ended the franchise on a high note. Heather Langenkamp is great in this film. They brought her back. I'm glad they didn't just leave her dead after Part 3. It was really creepy. When Freddy, the little kid is like running in the street in a dream, and then there's like mountains of Freddy over him. It just scared. Wow, it was really creepy. The kids just getting twitchy and seeing Freddy everywhere. It was just really creepy. Freddy's new makeup is really spine tingling. When Heather Langenkamp is at the end and she becomes Nancy again, it's badass because she takes Freddy to the cleaners. She kicks him into a freaking oven and burns his ass, and it's just a great moment. And then at the end, when she's reading her son a story, it's a good ending to the series. It should have ended like this. It did not need a remake. This is the way you end a series, on a high note. You bring back your protagonist from the first film. You give her badass moments. You make her interesting, and you really give her, a reason to come back. And you respect the original. You don't shit on it. I really think that this movie was really done well. It was a shame it wasn't a box office, blockbuster hit. I think it's really creepy. It's definitely a really good Wes Craven film, and it beats the crap out of the remake and any other sequels they make to the remake. And Robert Englund is still creepy as Freddy. No jokes in this one. This is just real creepy stuff. Really solid horror film. And now for my final DVD. This is 8 films. I have about 2 of them, and I've seen 3 of them in the past, and then I saw 2 of them the last couple weeks. It's an 8-film pack with stars like Nicolas Cage and Morgan Freeman, Sly Stallone, my favorite, and John Cusack. The films are Direct Action, Stolen with Nicolas Cage, which I haven't seen yet, The Circuit, which I thought was a decent Olivia Gruner film, really fun stuff, Rampart with Woody Harrelson, Ned Beatty, Ben Foster, and so on. Then in the back you have Lost City Raiders. You have Avenging Angelo, which I will give it a chance. Even if it sucks, it can't be any worse than Grudge Match or Escape Plan. Then you have this film, The Contract, which I thought was really decent. Then you have one of Van Damme's best later films, Wake of Death. I have a second copy of it. So if I just want to see the film, I'll put it here. These films are worth it. Well, at least half of them I enjoy. So, even if 1 or 2 of them sucks, at least it was worth it, for the price I got it at Best Buy for some decent action. Some of them are crime dramas, but they're still very well acted and really, really good stuff. I'm glad I got this. So that's my DVD update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know the picture quality is not the best, but hey, I do what I must. I don't want to let you guys down. My Q&A is coming out around later this month. I will do it definitely. Not right after this video, but once I get enough questions. If not, I'll just use the questions I have and do a short Q&A. But I will do it for you guys. You guys deserve it. You're very patient. You've watched a lot of my videos over the last year and change, and I thank you for that. So, see you guys later. Bye.